So today we got Zach Martin. How you doing, dude?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having me on.
No, I appreciate you asking, dude. I'm always looking for folks to join, and I've been watching your content for a while now, dude, and really enjoying it.
Thanks a lot.
No, no. So you're training manager at La Roche Tree?
Yeah, my full title is Employee Training and Development Manager, which is a mouthful, so I just say the trainer.
Oh, nice. Yeah. How long have you been with them?
Just since April, I used to work for Davy up in Cleveland, and then I came down here, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, it looks like man, they got their hands in a lot of stuff.
So La Roche is really interesting because they've been around for a while. But the residential side is really only like 10% of the company. They do like a huge amount of commercial work, and we also have um, we do utility work. We do environmental. There's like an environmental section. We have a sawmill. We have an aviation unit. So like we own two helicopters.
Holy
So
cow!
there's like a whole lot of stuff going on that I never even see. And then our little piece of residential.
Yeah. Do you guys have your own shop, like separate from everything else, or you're all together?
We have like our own trailer where all the residential guys go, but then there's an auto shop, there's a fab shop, there's
Man.
yeah, it's there's it's there's a lot going on here. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, what do you get to jump over and see what the guys like on the commercial side are doing, or you mostly just sticking with the residential?
I haven't needed to go out with any of the right of way guys yet, but that's because like residential needs so much focus right now. Plus it's summer, it's the high season, so it's kind of it's tough to get away from the daily production work just to see what those everyone else is doing. But probably in the winter, once things start slowing down, then yeah, I'll be able to spread myself throughout the company more.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Like just so many moving parts. Yeah, it'd be cool to see what all's going on.
Yeah, and I mean, there's guys like out on the right of ways, like timber felling and climbing for distribution wires. So like skill wise, there's something that I could provide to a lot of different people that I'm just not able to see on a daily or weekly basis yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. How many employees are you guys running?
It's I know it's over 220. I think by the end of the year our goal was about 250, but we might even be getting close to that at this point.
Man, that's crazy. How many on the residential side? How many crews are you guys running?
Um it kind of it's kind of amorphous day to day, but including the salesmen, I think there's 25 people in residential.
Yeah.
And that's not even including like the admin staff that supports us or like the safety guys or anything else. That's just like the guys who are just doing residential work every day,
Holy cow.
including Zach Richards and I, which are the training department.
Yeah, and you guys seem like you're in the field pretty much every day.
Yeah, every single day.
Man, that's wild. Were you training before you went to La Roche? Were you training at Davy?
No, I was a residential crew leader. But then I kind of got to the point where I knew I wanted to be a trainer, but I wasn't really keen on the way the Davy training system was set up because when you're a trainer there, you kind of have a bunch of offices under you. So you're traveling all the time, but you're not really seeing the same guys consistently. And I wanted to be able to work, with guys, like every day or every week. That way, it's really more of like a sustained kind of growth.
Yeah.
So I was either I knew I wanted a training position, or I thought about kind of going the contract climber route. But then when Zach Richards hit me up about this position, it just kind of it made a lot of sense, and all the pieces fell into place really quickly.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you and Zach are pretty close. You guys knew each other prior.
Just through the interwebs, but yeah, we would communicate pretty frequently.
Yeah, it's funny with the tree climbing and just the industry in general. How many people I've met through social media and just became friends with, and then like feel like I'm homies with them, and then I bump into him at like comp or something a year or so later, and I'm like, oh yeah, we've been talking for a while.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's really given. So what drew you to the tree industry? I know I was listening to Levi's podcast with you, and you're the groundskeeper.
No, no. You mean I think I mentioned I volunteered at Lakeview Cemetery.
Okay, yeah, okay,
But
that was it.
I didn't actually work there or anything. Really, I needed a job. Um, I was working at a museum doing security work, and then I got fired, which which I won't go into, but that was really like the best thing that could have happened to me because I needed a job, and my wife was pregnant at the time. So I knew that Davy was they had one of the tree contracts for the cemetery that I was volunteering at. So I was like, oh well, I'll apply at Davy and then I'll be able to work at the cemetery I'm already working at, working on trees. But I didn't know I had like zero experience in the tree industry. So I had actually applied to do line clearance. So I started my career doing line clearance for like a year and a half before I switched over to residential.
Yeah, I'm sure that got old quick. I've never done mind clearance or really worked with anybody that has done it so much, but
I have a lot of respect for guys who like make a career of it and do it well, but it's so unfulfilling cuz
yeah,
like you do a tree and then you do 15 trees and then you're looking down the same wires every day and it's like it never ends. Like there's no sense of completion or fulfillment.
yeah, and I've always appreciated like good lineman work, but here in South Carolina, I never really see that, and I always hear that reference. I forget kind of how the reference goes. Clearance, not appearance. There it is.
Yes. Yeah, that's absolutely what it is.
Oh, and it pisses me
Which
off.
is kind of a bummer too cuz like I started giving a shit about proper arboriculture, but I was with, like career guys who just didn't care. So I couldn't get anything from them education wise or training wise because they'd been doing, the same hack work for 20 years, which is one of the big reasons I wanted to go to residential just to do better quality tree work.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I said, that clearance, not appearance things always piss me off. And then I look at work that they've done. I'm just like, there's such a better way, especially downtown Columbia. They'll carve out and take out the central leader of a big oak tree just for throwing lines and stuff up. And then it looks all wonky and that tree's never going to be the same. It's never, I don't get it, what they will leave. It's kind of like at that point, I'm like, maybe you should just remove the tree. Maybe put
A
lines
lot of
in
that comes down to
the
like politics with whatever like the power company is too, because like they don't want to pay to remove a tree when they could just pay the company to remove half of it. So a lot of it is just the money side.
Yeah, I guess so. And I haven't seen too many good, I guess, like utility arborists down here too. And I see them, a lot of it's like cutting and chunking and stuff, not really rigging a whole lot.
Right.
So I guess that could be a danger to everybody. But no, that's awesome, dude. So you're in Ohio. Also, congratulations on the new place, the new
Thank
house.
you. Yeah, we've been here for a week now, so there's still a lot of boxes that need unpacked and
Oh, that'll be
I
there
just
for a
started
while.
working on my trees this afternoon. I have 22 trees and they all need something, so
I'll need some love.
yeah, I have a lot to do. A lot of them are topped out, like maples and Bradford pears, so I need to give those some special attention.
Yeah, I saw the your Instagram story with the Japanese maple.
Yeah, well,
I
we'll
was getting
see.
ready to comment in there. I was like, maybe like some micro cabling or some
I thought
bracing.
about that, and then I went to go. I reduced some of the weight on that little broken section, and the whole thing just broke right off. So
Oh, bummer.
it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look that bad. I'm sure it'll fill in on that other side
Yeah,
too.
I hope so. We'll see.
No. Well, that's cool, man. And you're came from being a Marine. Appreciate your service.
Yeah, I I actually enlisted when I was still in high school. So I was 17 when I went to boot camp, and then I was in for 5 years, and I did 3 deployments, and then I got out, and I guess that's really important to like why tree work has been so valuable to me, because when I left the military, like it's like a really demanding lifestyle, and you're with guys who are working hard all the time. And then when I started doing security work, it was like very boring and unfulfilling. And
Yeah.
then when I started doing tree work again, it was like, oh, like I can, like I was back in a team atmosphere, like working outside and like risky work. So that was actually really important for my mental well-being. Like tree work kind of kind of saved my life in a way. Like it gave me a purpose again.
Yeah. Yeah. I've known. I'm prior military as well, Navy. Did a kind of the same thing. Did my 4 years, and I was like, man, I think I'm good. I think I'm ready to get back home. And I've talked with a couple guys prior military as well. I've worked with a guy that was in the Marine Corps, and that's what he told me as well. He's like, I feel like I have a purpose in coming back doing tree work, working in a team atmosphere, and kind of everything's changing every day. I guess as far as our jobs, being somewhere new.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's glad to have you. I love that post of the Jolly Roger. I think you posted one the other. Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, the Jolly
Yeah,
Roger
this
flag.
like where the tree pirate thing comes from.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. I really like that. I don't know if you watched it, the Black Flags or Black Cells.
I watched a little bit of it. I think it was on HBO or FX or something. Stars. It was on Stars.
Stars, yeah, yeah, that's an excellent show. I love it. But seeing the Jolly Roger kind of made me think of that.
Yeah, that was a really important part of my life, so I like to carry it on as
Well,
best I can.
for sure. I mean, you went in. I joined when I was 18, and I didn't get right out of high school. I think I took a year out, and
Mhm.
life was kind of slapping me in the face, and I was like, man, I need to do something with myself, or I'm going to get stuck.
Yeah,
So
I appreciate
joining
that.
the military was that for me, and I chose the Navy just so I could really travel, and didn't think that they sent me straight over to Japan, which was cool.
Did you go to Okinawa?
No, I was in a Yokosuka.
I
Um,
don't know where that is.
it's way better than Okinawa.
Everything's better than Okinawa.
Yeah, I was. I guess it's kind of north. It was in the Tokyo Bay, and it was kind
Okay.
of sweet. We were in an excellent spot. We could get into Tokyo. It was a 40-minute train ride, if that.
Nice. I went to Camp Fuji. I don't know if you know where that is. It's like right at the base of Mount Fuji. We went there in the winter of 2015, and it was like 0 degrees every day, but it was beautiful.
That is beautiful country. I did the. I wanted to do the Tokyo Marathon. I went out there and volunteered with some buddies once, and yeah, I was right kind of down at the base of Mount Fuji, and beautiful. And the people are so nice.
Yeah.
The food is great.
I had a really weird experience in the woods, like right there around Mount Fuji. I don't know if they had like a fire there at one point or it had been all logged out, but they had replanted um like hundreds and hundreds of acres of pine trees or spruce trees. I don't remember what they were, but they planted them all in like a perfect grid, which you didn't really know while you were just walking through them. But then if you stopped and like looked down the rows, like everything was like perfect lines of trees for miles and miles. It was really kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's interesting there. I went to
I think that's what it was like right near what they call the suicide
Yeah.
forest.
I said I went out to the suicide forest once, and luckily didn't see any dead people, but you could tell I was like camping out and kind of trashy and stuff. Maybe they were trying to clean that stuff out. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe that was a section people went to go have hard times in.
It could have been.
Maybe but yeah, I wish I could go back now as an arborist and kind of because I remember there's a lot of like ornamental pruning and stuff there
Hmm.
that at then I'm like, man, like why are they doing that? Now I'd probably like really appreciate it.
I follow a lot of Japanese arborists on Instagram, and like they do some really interesting work, especially in the really dense cities where there's like power lines literally everywhere, and they have these
Oh
giant trees. Like they do
yeah,
some really intricate work that a lot of us like will never be exposed to.
no, no, none at all. I mean, contract climbing, I don't even get to prune that much anymore. I wish people would, you know, pull me in for that, but
Yeah.
it's mostly just the nasty removals or just a really nasty job in general.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, we'll pull you in to do that. But yeah, that's again, yeah, appreciate your service. That's cool. That you kind of felt drawn to this and you're feeling it. Like I said, the camaraderie, like in tree work's just amazing. So you had a competition up there not long ago, right?
I spectated at the Ohio comp. I didn't compete, but I think next year will be my first.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to compete in the Ohio comp next year.
but yeah, I'm sure you felt those vibes.
Yeah, it's
um,
cool. It's really cool going to those events too because you see how much bigger the industry is outside of like whatever the little part you have in it is.
hmm.
If that makes sense.
No, yeah. My first company I worked with always felt like they kind of kept like bags over our heads. Like they didn't want us to see what was on the outside, which was kind of a good thing. There's not too many solid companies out here holding good standards.
Hmm.
But I remember my first comp I went to, that was like the first time I've seen climbers outside of my company. And I was like 8 months in and it just blew my mind. I was like, yo, like these guys are insane. And we were mostly on moving rope systems and going out there and seeing a lot of guys on stationary. It's like,
Yeah.
how are they doing this? This is crazy. But that was definitely a good experience. And the vibes out there are just so real, man. People are cheering you on, giving you hugs.
And it doesn't even, it's not like, even as a spectator, like watching all the competitors interact, there was like, it wasn't an aggressive type of competition. Like it was everyone cares about elevating everyone else.
Yeah. Dustin Goodman, he put it a really good way. I heard a couple months ago, and he was saying like most of like he's a big competitor, and he was just like, yeah, he's like normally when I'm going to these competitions, he's like the way I'm looking at it is mostly I'm competing with myself, like what I did at the last comp and what I placed and how I did in those events, like that's my competition. There is trying to do that, and the other guys, like you're saying, are trying to elevate me and kind of help me along.
Yeah, Levi explained it to me really well too, on the podcast I did with him, and I think I'm kind of butchering it, but he basically said like if you're feeling if you're feeling shitty about your performance, like that's all ego, and like part of the experience of competing is like dissolving that ego and getting past
Yeah.
yourself.
And the times that I've actually done good in events, I've competed a handful of times now. It's been when I'm like not taking it seriously at all,
Hmm.
like just going out there having fun and being like I'm going to work. A bunch of different folks, but I'm going to work.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's cool, man. Yeah, you plan on competing next year. Are you gonna try to hit up Expo this year, or?
Yeah, I'm already registered. I'm pretty excited about that. This will be my first expo. I went to the Ohio Tree Care Conference in February, in Cleveland, and that was like my first like industry function. Um, so getting to go to Expo this year will be pretty awesome.
Oh, nice. Yeah. We'll get to meet then, dude. I'm
Yeah,
excited. Expo's huge and a really good time. I got lucky. I'm glad it's in Charlotte again. I mean, it's only an hour and a half drive for me.
nice.
Yeah, I went to Expo the first time in Charlotte 3 years ago, and it just blew my mind compared to anything I've been to. Saw the knowledge and equipment, the showroom just full and full. It might not bother you so much. You guys got helicopters and stuff up there, so
Yeah, we have a lot of big stuff.
yeah. So you're doing a lot of filming. I was watching again. I was kind of stalking your Instagram earlier and um, carrying your gear case out. You had like 3 GoPros and
Yeah,
a bunch of batteries.
yeah,
Is that
that's like my battery box. Now that I have like a pickup truck, like I'm pretty much free to have as much stuff as I want and can use. So I like to. I'm also obsessive about organizing my stuff. So those pack out boxes are sick.
I keep looking at those. I've seen a couple guys in the field using them, like yourself, and then I've just seen kind of like Instagram and videos, and then I want to say it was Charlotte competition last year. Cormac Nagin had all of his gear in those boxes, and I was kind of watching it, and I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, when I was like working out of a chip truck, like that wasn't really feasible because you can't stick those things in gearboxes on a chip truck, but in a pickup truck, yeah, for sure. I use the Milwaukee boxes for like all of my hardware and all my rigging gear and my GRCS, but then I really love the Courant bags for all of my climbing gear and ropes.
Yeah, yeah, Courant makes some solid stuff. I haven't gotten anything from them yet. I've been wanting to, but I look at other people's. I'm using like the Notch Pro Deluxe bag or something.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
it's
There's so
easy,
there's so much good stuff out there.
dude.
It's
Yeah,
hard to just
and
pick one thing.
Justin. I mean, I've only been in the industry for almost 8 years now, and it's crazy at how much things have changed in just that 8 years. How much good gear is coming out, good quality stuff.
Yeah, it's almost too much. Like podcasts, like there's it's so saturated with good quality stuff. It's hard to actually know what to get or
Yeah,
what to listen to.
yeah, exactly. But are you using so are you filming stuff for training at La Roche, or is this a lot of the stuff that you're kind of sharing on Instagram?
Kind of both. A lot of it is just like feeling a creative itch cuz like when I was at Davy, cuz they're such a big company and they have some fairly tight expectations for your social media preference or social media presence. Like
Yeah,
I tried to be really specific about what things I shared, but now that I'm like kind of creatively free, like I'm just figuring out what I can film and if I get an idea of what I want something to look like I'm trying to figure out how I can record that. But also it's just fun to record and then see how I can put it together. But then yeah, like all most of our training is like out in the field, but also if we have like rainy days, we'll do classroom stuff. So Zach Richards and I'll like keep footage on our phones, and like he'll pull up his YouTube videos and like go through GRCS videos or crane pics or stuff like that. So just having extra footage of specific situations on hand, um, from a training sense
yeah,
is an investment in our time.
and that's awesome. You guys are doing that because I mean, you're recording it. You were there. You're the one that made those cuts, and then you're the guy there presenting it. So there's no reason to add in, I guess, dialogue to the videos really if you're going to
No,
be presenting it.
no, and really it just comes down to I enjoy doing the work and filming it and then trying to figure out how to present it afterwards.
Yeah.
or sometimes I'll the thing I've been doing recently is I'll find a song I like and then try to make a video that works for that song. So it's really just a creative challenge.
Oh, nice. Yeah. What kind of? I think I've listened to some of your.
I try to be diverse too. Like I'll do like a country song and then a rap song and then a rock song and then like a pop song.
You're hitting everybody, all corners.
Yeah.
No, that's good stuff. So you're archiving all of this. You're sharing it with LaRoche. You're sharing some of it on Instagram.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So are you doing any editing with them, or you're just keeping it kind of raw?
Just really the most editing I do is just for Instagram Reels. I haven't really done like an extended kind of instructional type video,
Yeah.
but as we get more like into the winter pruning season, I'll probably spend more time doing that kind of work. But right now we're just so removal heavy that it's just kind of the fun removal videos, crane work, big rigging,
Well, I'm sure you're
what have
stacking
you.
up a lot of footage too. So I mean, even if
Yeah,
you shared a clip, I mean, a minute or I don't know, you can go kind of unlimited on the reels now, can't you? On Instagram.
I think so. I think well, I don't really know. I know they limit you like music wise on what you can do, but even like the editing is still because I'm so new to filming videos. I'm still trying to figure out the whole editing thing.
It's Yeah, it's weird. I bought a GoPro not long ago, and I had this big plan that I was gonna. I don't know what my plan was actually. I just went and bought it, and I
Mhm.
think I got to the yeah, a couple good jobs, and I got to like the editing portion, and this is where I say kind of like the dialogue in there. I'm like, man, these people have no idea like what I'm doing or why I'm doing it.
Right. A lot of times I don't even think to record, and then like afterwards, it's like, oh man, that would have been like I could have used this as a good instruction for like a speed line, or why did I rig it this way? But by then it's too late. So I think a lot of filming is just a lot of like making videos is just doing it all the time and then figuring out what works.
Yeah, and getting like or but it's wild. I like watching August Honeyke's videos because it's like man, it's almost like watching a movie. I was like, there's like an intro, and then he's got a little bit of plot in there, and then sometimes there's some suspense and a little bit of drama. And
I think he's definitely like the pioneer, I would say, of presenting tree work through video.
yeah, it's excellent. It always grabs my attention. It's like and some of them are pretty lengthy too. I talked with a
Yeah, that's it's hard to watch like 30 to 40 minutes of one guy's videos every other day or every third day. And there's so many guys out there putting out good content.
yeah, that's true. That's very true. That's hopefully I'll get there one day. The filming portion it sounds like you're gonna have some time on your hands and you're gonna get it worked out. I bet, especially
I'd like
you and
to.
I think you will. You and the other Zach. Um,
Yeah.
the
Well,
time y'all put in.
he's got it down to an art.
He's good, man. Yeah, I've been watching him for probably a couple years now. Hopefully, get a chance to run into both of you guys at Expo this year.
Yeah, we'll both be there for sure. He'll also be representing he'll be at the FTC booth and the Gap Arborist booth, so he'll be easy to
Oh,
find.
nice, nice for the showing off the transformer. Is that what
The
it's called?
Transformer, yeah.
Okay. Now, how is that by the way? So, if you could explain it to folks, the first time I saw it, I want to say it was in yeah Zigzag Man's like Instagram story, and then I saw you had a post of it, and then
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
followed that.
so he's the other Zach is like he's an ambassador and a field tester for FTC, which is actually a French company. Um so he gets like prototypes of their gear, but then the Transformer is like their newest thing to market, which is kind of, I've never ran any of the Stein devices, but I think it's kind of like the Stein RC, like the 3000 or something like that.
Okay.
But it's, if you can picture like a GRCS, but where you have the winch and the lowering bollard both on a same plate. So it's actually, when it come in, like the whole system is the winch and two lowering bollards all on one giant plate, but it's kind of modular. So you can take each of those components off. So you could use it as like two lowering bollards without the winch or whatever. So far, we've only run it as the whole system, and it's there's some things you have to figure out at first, but like we used it to rig some really big chunks, and it was smooth. It's
Yeah.
nice because the drum of the lowering bollard is like huge, so you get really nice friction control on it, and it was nice. We definitely need to use it a fair bit more to have like a really well-rounded perspective of it. But
Okay.
I think we're the only, well, it's Zach's, but I think that's the only one like in the United States, which feels kind of cool to say. If I'm wrong, that's cool. Like, let me know. But
I
yeah,
mean, I haven't.
I think ours is the only one.
I got super interested as soon as I saw. Like I said, I think it was on Zigzag Man Zach's
Yeah.
Instagram story, and I was like, it was there, and then it was gone the next day, and I was like, oh, like what was that? And luckily, you put the post up. And I mean, that's the only one I've seen.
It's heavy too. Like that whole
I bet
setup
three
is, it
bollards.
comes it comes in a giant crate, and it weighs like, it's like 150 pounds to tote the whole system
You just
around.
weld up a log cart devoted
Yeah, pretty
just for
much.
that. So does the bollard detach too, or the I guess like the winch bollard?
Yeah, as far as I know, like each of the three, so like the winch, and then the two lowering bollards, you can detach each of them. So
Yeah,
you can run like all three things, or you can have just one on the plate. It gets really cluttered. That's probably my biggest drawback to it, just the clutter from having all of that giant system in one spot. But after a few
yeah.
runs, like it's pretty easy to figure everything out.
And then yeah, now that you're mentioning that, that's making me think. I think I messaged you about running multiple lines, and yeah, that
Hmm.
might be a turn into
Yeah,
a
which
quick.
is another thing we haven't done with it yet, but it's really well set up to do that because it has both of those lowering bollards right next to each other.
Yeah, they're right there, but I guess it would be you'd still need to run a line on the bollard though. It'd be tough to say you got tension on it and switch
Right.
it over unless you added maybe a gnarly Prusik, like
Well,
actually
that's
use.
what we were doing. So like I'd wrap the rope on the winch and then take some wraps on the bollard, but then I'll have to make a video of it because it's really hard to explain like verbally, but
Yeah,
it was kind of confusing for me to figure out. I didn't figure it out for myself. It was actually Ben Fedor from Parkway Tree. I think he's in Pennsylvania, and he uses the Stein device, and he's the one who explained it in one of his stories on Instagram about how to set up like a hauling system to capture tension with a Prusik or a Prusik before you're rigging.
yeah. I'd be interested to see it on that. I mean, I've used and a lot of other folks, I'm sure, just like progress captures with Prusiks on say
Mhm.
5-to-1s and stuff, but never really incorporated on something compatible like the good rig. But I mean,
Right.
you don't need to do it on that though.
No.
But you're also restricted to one line.
Right.
No, that's cool. So are they going to be showing that off at Expo?
I would think so. Um, I mean, it's an expensive device, but I feel like they're trying to be
Ooh, Yeah,
competitive with the GRCS with it.
I
So
didn't even think of the cost of that because was the
yeah,
big rigs are running close to 3 grand or something, aren't
right.
they?
Yeah, and we have two of them here, plus a Hobbs. I love running the Hobbs for big rigging.
Is that man? I've never even messed with the Hobbs.
I never even saw one until I came here, but it's like akin to lowering off a porter wrap, but you can put like a tremendous amount of pre-tension in the line beforehand.
Yeah, nice man. Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on you and Zach and see what you guys do with that, and other people should too. That looks like a really cool device. Once you, like you're saying, once you get it worked out and kind of see what you can do, keep
Yeah.
pressing it and moving it. 'Cause I've
And it's
always been,
it's also a fairly new like device on the market. So I think as more people get one, like a better understanding of it will come out.
yeah. No, that'll be cool, dude. And Expo is going to be fun this year. I think everyone's gonna. I guess they had Expo last year in Indianapolis, but
Yeah, I had to miss that one because it was like right around the time. I don't remember when it was, but I feel like it was right around the time my son was born.
yeah.
So, like, obviously I missed it.
Was that your first
My
or?
second, I have two boys.
Oh man, overwhelming mom.
Yes, he's busy.
No, that's awesome. A good thing to miss Expo for.
Yeah,
I'd
for
say
sure.
kids are great. I've got two little ones as well. Best of both worlds. Got lucky. Got a 6-year-old boy, and then my little girl's getting ready to turn 4.
Yeah, I have my my older son is 3, and then the baby Bodie, he'll be 1 in just a couple weeks now, like 3 weeks.
Heck yeah,
So
man!
they're
You're
still
gonna
pretty young.
get him climbing soon.
Pretty close. My the 3-year-old, he likes to, if he can find something small, like I'll set him up in the tree and then he'll just hold onto a branch and stay there, but he likes just being off the air, like in the air off the ground.
Yeah. Well, they make pretty good. I think both my kids. I had my son by the time he was 2 or 3. Probably 40-foot climbing with me. I forget the harness I started him out with. I want to say it was a Petzl harness, and
Yeah, I
now
think I'm going to get him a full body one soon. He's kind of on the smaller side. So like even like the full body harnesses that have a recommended age of like 3 or 4, like
yeah.
he's still been kind of small for that, but now he's starting to
So
kind of grow into himself.
Eldred, that's what I had for my son. That was his first one, and I had to get him. Same thing. He was on the small side, and it was like the smallest full body harness that they had. And now that one's been passed to my daughter, and he's in a still a black diamond full body. I
Nice.
don't quite trust him yet. So full bodies are nice, dude. Yeah, they'll. It's hard for them to roll over, kind of flipping it. So
Yeah, I'm excited to get my kids climbing.
it's fun. Mine, I've got to help still, so I'm setting up like 3-to-1s on their climbing system and pulling them up
Nice.
there with me the whole way. Um,
That's fun though.
it is, yeah. I've got to earn it. They've got to earn it. They've got to watch me earn it. But
They're going to remember that when they're older too.
oh, for sure. And the what climbing does for me, I'm sure to help them as well. I mean, kind of that creativity and definitely getting some confidence and managing stuff on your own. But it's a good time. The Eldred, I'd look at that, those full bodies, and then also, like I said, the black diamond that I've got for my son recently
Yeah, I'll check those out.
is a step up from. It seems much more cozier for him. No, that's going to be dope, dude. So you're big into fitness. I've been watching you. You've
Yeah,
been,
I was a really tiny kid. Um, like I come from a small family, but I was like the smallest kid in our class, like that sort of kid in high school.
yeah,
So Yeah, like early on in high school, probably around like 14 years old or 15 years old, I started weightlifting really hardcore, and it's just continued with me. I don't really lift anymore besides like kettlebells, but this is such like a it can be such a physically strenuous industry. Like just keeping up on it has helped me like help my back pain and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just really it's very fulfilling to work out. I do a lot of yoga too.
Yeah, yoga's I got I had an injury a couple years ago, and that was honestly what helped me out the most was doing yoga, getting my stretches in, warming up.
Hmm.
Like those warm ups in the morning are huge, and I mean, even I think I warm up 3 times in the morning by the time I actually start working.
Yeah, I so like I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and then I'll go for a walk. I usually walk barefoot in the morning with my dog as long as it's not too cold. And then I'll try to get in a quick workout and then I'll go to work and then like sit around and then drive and then so by the time I get to the job site it's already been a couple hours before I've done anything physical, so I gotta
Yeah,
get back up.
I need to do the run. Normally in the mornings, I'm just stretching, just kind of stretching up to get moving, and then again when I get to work, I'll be stretching like during our morning meetings, and then when we get on job site, I'm stretching again.
Yeah, I used to be really aggressive in the mornings. Like I'd wake up at I used to wake up at 4 a.m. And I stopped doing that because then I would just be exhausted by 8 o'clock at night. But I'd wake up super early and like I'd get a cold shower, I'd do a hard workout, but then I get to work and I'm already tired, like I've already burnt a bunch of calories and I'm already sore from my workout. So now I try to, as I've gotten slightly older, I've tried to keep my mornings a little bit easier.
Yeah. So what are you, 30, 36?
No, I'll be 29 next week. Wednesday
29?
is my yeah, Wednesday is my birthday.
What? Nice, dude. You're still a young man.
I'm still pretty young. I just look
Yeah.
old.
I'm sure the Marine Corps just broke you down a little quicker, but
It's the miles.
oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm only 32, so still a young man myself. But yeah, you seem much older. Yeah, definitely much more mature. So you said 29 or 39? Excuse
I'll
me.
be 29.
29. Okay, there we go again. See,
Yeah,
there's the
today.
32 in me, the old man. I can't
Yeah.
hear. It's wild, man.
I feel like I'm half deaf most times.
Oh, I can imagine, dude. That I was stationed on an aircraft carrier, and it was non-stop noise throughout the entire day. And I can only imagine, rifle fire and stuff kind of right beside your head.
Yeah. What did you do in the Navy?
So I went in with this great plan that I was going to join the special forces. Didn't get told how hard it was going to be.
Hmm.
Um, Ended up dropping out, became an undesignated, worked with the bosun's mates forever. Um, Ended up getting transferred over to sub duty, and it was about time for me to re-enlist then. So I did like a fast cruise on a sub.
Yeah.
And when re-enlistment came up, I was like, you took me from the largest platform, which I enjoyed carrier life, and you're sticking me into the smallest, and it's really depressing. I think I'm done. I think I want to go home. But working with the Moses mates, that was fun, dude. Again, coming into you know being an arborist afterwards, like getting into tree climbing, I already knew a lot of knots and stuff, and kind of the fancy work. Knew hard work at that point because it's pretty tough being working on deckhands and stuff like that, busting out
Hmm.
paint.
Yeah,
But
my brother he's in the Navy. He's an electronic technician and I think he's mostly on an aircraft carrier. I went on the Somerset, the USS Somerset. I went on there for like 2 or 3 weeks. And obviously it was like an all Navy crew, but
yeah,
it was pretty legit being on a ship where like those guys are with each other 24/7 like running a ship. Like it was really cool to watch that.
Oh, dude, and I think back on it, and I was 19. I worked a lot on, being a bosun's mate. I got to work on the bridge a lot with the captain, the XO, and I worked as a helmsman, and I was steering around a multi-billion-dollar aircraft carrier at the age of 19 with
Yeah,
jets
that's
taking off and
legit.
landing, and it seemed shitty at the time, but now I look back on it and I'm like, man, that was cool. Like that was really cool stuff.
Yeah, maturity wise, that gives you a lot of perspective too.
Yeah, that's especially like I said, coming into climbing. I came in with a couple other climbers at my first company, and all of them kind of bailed out, and I couldn't understand why. I remember they telling me about how hard it is, and that's one thing with the military, kind of embracing the suck. I'm like, man, this really isn't that bad. It's fun. I'm going home. I'm sore. I'm working out. Like
Yeah.
learning something new every day. And the people, again, I mean, a lot of folks I met in the military, I probably talked to a good many of them, and people that I grew up with that I considered really good friends. I don't even talk to them, I don't think, as much as I do the guys that I served with. But
No, I feel the same way.
it's a different, like you're saying, you're home away from your family, and being with those dudes 24/7 kind of made it worth it, in a small way. Yeah, but that's good stuff. I recommend it to everybody, especially folks worried about paying for college. You can go to the military and get your honorable discharge and pay for your college. You just got to put in that 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and even like the GI Bill aside, like maturity wise, and like I know 100%, like I would not be the person I am today, personally or professionally, if I hadn't gone that way out of high school.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I did too. And the traveling and stuff I got to do, that was cool, seeing different worlds perspectives, because being in, well, different area perspectives, being in Japan, I got to go over kind of all over East Asia, and
Hmm.
that was amazing. Places I'll probably never, some of them I'll probably never get to go to again. I'd love to go back to Japan.
Did you get to go to Thailand?
I did I think 3 times I went to Thailand. That's a that's a wild place.
We we went there. We actually went there right after we went to um, Mount Fuji. So it was like it went from being like 0 degrees to like 100 degrees with a hundred
Oh
percent
yeah,
humidity. But
and
yeah,
then
that was a fun time.
I'm sure the price difference was kind of like whoa too. Like Japan, it's definitely the more expensive places that I've gone to, kind of on
Yeah,
that side of the
you
world.
can live like a king for not a lot of money in Thailand.
Oh no, dude! Like the first time I went out there, I think we were in Pattaya. We stayed in Pattaya.
Yeah, that's where I went.
Yeah, dude, crazy place. So we stayed on some 5-star resort that I think in America you'd probably pay $300 or $400 a night, and it was I want to say 5 nights total. It might have been $150.
Yeah, it was like dirt cheap, and there were like bars in pool, like multiple pools with bars, like all in the same hotel.
Oh yeah, yeah. And what was that street everybody'd go to? It was like Texas Street or something. I can't remember.
Um, I don't remember. There was a couple of days where we weren't even allowed to like leave the hotel because there was like a problem with the Russian mafia like in the
Oh,
local
geez.
area. So
Yeah.
we all had to stay at the hotel.
We had stuff like that all the time. That was a thing. China, like the Chinese and American. I realized this when in the Navy, and how many times they would just kind of screw with each other.
Yeah.
There's a
It's
lot
pretty
of, and
wild.
then Hong Kong, we were always we had to be really tight net because, yeah, Russian, Japanese spies and stuff. I don't know. I was like, I don't know what I can provide them. They can do whatever they want to me, and I've got nothing to tell them. I paint boats, dude.
Yeah, I
It's,
think a lot of people like forget that there's other places in the world where like people legit want to kill Americans just because you're an American.
Oh, for sure. Like Malaysia, I remember Malaysia was pretty bad. We pulled into port there once, and I don't think we were allowed to leave. And it was kind of like, why are we even pulling in here? And that was the thing. They were kind of like, yeah, it's a lot of people that don't like us, and they want to hurt anybody they can. So
Yeah.
we're just going to stick it out here. And it was kind of a bummer. They were like, yeah, we'll go have a pier party. I was like, well, we don't want to go hang out on the pier. It's like, why don't we just go back?
Yeah.
Let's
My
go
my
back to Thailand.
my first deployment was Afghanistan, so like everyone after that was kind of like in the shadow of that. So like not like feeling a sense of danger was like nothing new, but it was like a whole different perspective, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine so. I couldn't imagine kind of that experience that guys over there were going through, or I mean, still going through.
Yeah.
That's messed up situation over there.
I would do it all again.
Yeah, yeah. Have you read any of like Tim Kennedy's books and stuff? Have you followed him much at all?
I mean, I know who he is, not too much. I kind of got away from reading a lot of like military autobiographies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he seems like a solid dude. He's got a sheepdog response program that's pretty cool to watch. I guess putting in there on the fitness, I think they focus a lot with like kind of the MMA and kind of getting people ready. Um,
Yeah. I mean, he's also like a professional mixed martial arts fighter.
yeah, I've watched a couple of his fights on YouTube, and man, that dude's a savage.
Yeah.
He is a savage. I was happy though. I guess last year during the Afghanistan situation, he put in a lot of work to help get people out of there. And he had a podcast recently with Joe Rogan, and then it was really really cool to hear what he was doing. I'm sure a little bit of it, a smidget, might have been some publicity in there,
Hmm.
but hearing the kind of the shit that was going down, it was sad. It's really sad, and
Yeah. I
you know,
think he was also just in Ukraine for a period of time. I might be wrong about that though.
probably so. I think he mentioned it in that podcast as well. That I don't think he came out with it yet. He was just kind of. They were like, did you go there? And he was just like, allegedly, and kind of
Yeah.
left it at that.
I had a really close friend go there, like right when that whole situation kicked off, and he hit me up. He was like, "Hey man, like I'm trying to put some guys together to go there." He had been a corpsman, so like a Navy medic with Marines. But he was like,
Oh
"I'm
yeah,
trying to put together some guys to go, do some service in Ukraine. Do you want to go?" And that was like a really attractive offer, but it was just not. I'm kind of past that time in my life.
yeah. I mean, you've got two kids now, and
Right. Yeah. Even financially, like I don't know how that would have worked. But he's back. I mean, he's safe and everything. So
that's good. Yeah, it's a wild world right now. It really is. So hopefully, probably not. I was about to say hopefully something will give, but so yeah, I was going to ask you too. I know you're big into reading. I don't. Have you watched or read the Terminal List series that Jack Carr?
I didn't read it, but I watched it, and I found it really fascinating. For one thing, the whole concept of like testing stuff on soldiers and Navy SEALs, that was kind of like that's actually happening. So
Yeah,
it's not it's not that far fetched of an idea, like the premise of it. But yeah, I really enjoyed that.
it was good. I want to read the books now. I watched the show. I kind of binge watched the show too. I want to say I finished it in maybe a weekend. It might be because I'm a big Chris Pratt fan, but
Yeah, actually, I think
more
I
Andy.
watched it in like 2 or 3 days. My wife was out of town, so once I put the kids down at night, like I would just crank through the Terminal List.
Yeah, it was a good one, and I keep hearing people that have read. A couple of buddies of mine that have read the books and now they're watching the show. They're like, "Man, that's probably as far as like books in a series or a movie goes, like it's about as close as you're going to get." It's like,
Yeah,
okay, it's like if the show was that good, maybe I need to get into the books now. I'm really hoping they'll push for a second season. It sounds like they are because I
yeah, I,
mean,
I really hope so. Did you
no,
want to talk about like reading beyond the Terminal List?
dude, I was gonna ask you. So I see you're a big reader. Um,
Yeah,
have
I
you
uh, I
been into
try to
that?
read every single day.
Nice. Have you been doing that since you were younger, or was this?
I would say so. Like when I was a kid, like I did really well in school, but I didn't like having to try, so I didn't really push myself.
Yeah,
And then when I want to say it was probably, I think it was my second deployment, I started really reading hardcore. I remember reading Dracula and Frankenstein like all in the space of like 2 nights, and I just really loved it. So I just kept reading and reading and reading.
yeah,
Um, but then, so after I got out of the Marine Corps, I was doing security work, but I also started taking college classes. Like I wanted to be a philosophy major because I wanted to end up being a lawyer, which is a far departure from arboriculture. But yeah, that was like a huge amount of time spent reading. So now I try to have a really diverse reading style. So like just looking at my nightstand right now, like I have a couple of Buddhism books and then some tree books and then like some leadership books. So
nice.
yeah, I think I know I know most people don't read, um, and I don't really know how to convince people to start reading other than just try to read something and find something that sticks for you.
Yeah, for sure. Um, it's great. I mean, I started reading when I was young. I want to say middle school. I'd already read. Man, this was like maybe sixth or seventh grade. I think I'd already read all the Harry Potter books.
Nice.
It was like in middle school, and thank God for J.K. Rowling because she's the one that got me reading.
Yeah.
And
Do you
I
have any
got lucky too.
favorites?
I lived
Do
in
you
an
have like a
area
top five?
as far as books go.
Yeah.
Man, I've got. Oh man, so most of mine are honestly that I like. I think my number one would probably be was that Michael Crichton, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Love that book, even though the movie I love the movies too, and they kind of strayed away, but that was good. Probably between a rock and a hard place, and Ralston. Really like that one. That's kind of a I guess a autobiography kind of thing. Um, Into the Wild, love Into the Wild, short read.
Hmm.
Probably Into Thin Air. That's another one that I really liked. Same author there, John Krakauer.
Yeah.
Into Thin Air got me through probably some shit just a couple years ago. I had an injury that I was trying to overcome, and that book actually helped me out a lot.
I read it a few years ago. I think
It's
I watched them. I think they did a movie too. I think they made
yeah,
a movie of it.
they've had a two different kind of movies. They had one like that was way back in the day. The dude that played Shooter McGavin and Happy Gilmore, he's like the main character in that movie. It was
That's
good.
right.
And then they had the newest one. Um, I think it got some controversy. The John Krakauer was kind of pissed off or something.
I think it was much more like sensationalized, like fictionalized for the sake of Hollywood. in the newer one.
Yeah. I still enjoyed the movie, but it was yeah, kind of what you're saying. It's definitely Hollywoodized, but and I don't know. I feel like they make it made it seem so easy in that movie too. I don't
Hmm.
think Everest would be that easy. But those are probably I don't know. I read the David Goggins one not long ago. The Can't
Can't
Hurt Me.
Stop Me, or yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Can't Hurt Me. That one was pretty dope. I'm trying to read through Cameron Haynes' book right now. He's got one Endure.
My chiropractor just recommended that to me.
I had a buddy that I recommended it to before I haven't even started it. And I recommended it to him and he read it and he was like, dude, it was excellent. And I was like, well, that's good to know because I haven't even read it yet. So I just kind of told you to try it out.
Nice.
But yeah, luckily I've been reading for a while. I need to get back into it. I'm definitely not on your level right now. Um, Kids and work are so hectic, but there's
Well,
definitely
I was kind of fortunate for like the last 4 months because my family was still up in Cleveland, but I was working down here and living down here on weekdays. So like 5 days a week, I was alone. So I got a lot of reading done the last 4 months.
that's right because you were staying. Man, I read your fantastic advice. I heard it in Levi's podcast about doing an Airbnb for an extended
Yeah, I
time
lived in
for a
an
cheaper
Airbnb for
price.
4 months, which was great. It was honestly a really enjoyable experience. I
I
got
mean,
a ton of time to focus on myself.
yeah, there's a company that I contract climb for some up in Raleigh, North Carolina, the Trias, and I like going there kind of in the winter. They've got a nice shop with a wood stove and kind of feels like you're camping in a cabin.
Yeah.
But
I've heard so many awesome things about the Trieste.
they're good guys. You would hit it off with all of them, especially the owners, David and Craig. Craig's a really good dude. David's a really good dude, and um, Craig's yeah, he's kind of like a philosophical, um, out there, but really good dude. And yeah, you probably really like him. I imagine they'll be at Expo this year. It'd be cool if you guys bump paths.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
And the training that they've got there and their Saturday fun days are just a
Yeah,
blast.
I love the idea of that Saturday fun day with the built-in competitions and everything.
Dude, yeah, and I've gone there for a couple of them. There's a couple other good climbers. Daryl Stanley, he goes down there. Ben
Yeah,
Asaro,
Daryl's my favorite podcast guest you've had so far.
he's good people, man.
Yeah, I'm friends with Emily Inman, and she's sung high praises of him before, so I really enjoyed listening to him break down his backstory and everything on the show you had with him.
Yeah, that's a man. I met Daryl. I want to say it was before the Southern this year, so it might have been February, maybe March. And now I feel like we're really good friends, and I haven't even known him that long. He's a really good dude, real personable, good to talk to, and as far as like mentoring goes and stuff, he's got a lot of good advice to give. I mean, in the podcast too, I didn't really know too much of his background, and kind of hearing how abrasive he was threw me off. And then he's like, I wouldn't change that the way that I was when I was younger because this is where I'm at now. And good dude. Just I'd like to. I'll have to bug Emily, try to get her on. She's a she's a wild girl. Just a homie too. Really, really good homie. But yeah, Daryl's been up there. Then Ben Asaro, he's one of their crew leaders. He's solid as well. I don't think he's been at it too long, but you couldn't even tell. Now he's like operating. They just got a knuckle boom crane. He's operating that. But but
I've
besides
never
that, dude,
liked I've
what's
never
up?
liked the perception in this industry that you have to be around for a long time in order to like be really good or have an impact.
Yeah, because like I said, I've met a lot of guys that there's a dude I've been working with recently. He's been at it for a year and a half, and watching him, I didn't even know how long he'd been climbing. I wouldn't even know that he was in for a year and a half. You know, he's good at his job, good climber, and I think recently I asked him, I was like, how long you been doing this? A year and a half. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like,
Yeah,
good job, dude. I'm liking it.
I think like the internet and social media too definitely helps. Like I wasn't doing this 10 years ago, but like guys doing it now versus then, like there's way more information I have, access to than people starting even a few
And
years ago.
more folks willing to give it.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of changing in that direction. More folks are willing to kind of, I wouldn't even say let it go, really. I mean, just sharing, just being more open to sharing, and social media and stuff's helping out a lot with that. And we've got these great expos and, the competitions and stuff. There's always something new coming out. And luckily, they're not holding back. Yeah. So, you got anything you're looking forward to? Anything coming up?
Um Credential wise, I'm gonna be working on CTSP and then track. I'll probably hold off on attending the track workshop until next year just because it's so hard to get registered in them now because they're in such high demand. But yeah,
Yeah.
just continuing to train, like it's such a fulfilling experience. I've gained a lot of value from this new position because like I've had to readjust my entire philosophy towards how I go about doing production work every day.
Yeah.
Because like I used to, like as a crew leader at a big company, like my goal was to hit a certain dollar amount every day. But now it's, I have to focus more on, am I benefiting someone else? Am I empowering, someone else to be better at their job to benefit themselves? So that's what's really been fulfilling me recently. And then just doing everything I can to improve myself and also be able to improve other people.
Yeah. Well, the good thing with the training, my first company, I got lucky there and got to help build a training program, and all of our training was pretty much after hours. So it was full production, 8 hour day, and then we'd come back to the shop, and I would train one on one with guys for 2 hours at that point,
Hmm.
and that really gave me, like you're saying, for to help other people is amazing, and then the skills and stuff that I was able to acquire, and having to work with so many different people and how to get information across to them. And I was a much better rope climber then because I was climbing my face off.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of good value in that, man, to the trainee and the trainer.
Yeah, I feel a lot of times I feel like I'm getting more out of working with guys than they are sometimes.
That's for sure, dude. Yeah, like I said, it's my climbing level at that point. This was still still hitting it hard, but this was a couple years ago where I felt like I was kind of, I don't know. I don't know where I was at then, but it just felt great to put it that way. Training with the guys one on one every single day, just about it helped me so much, and
Yeah,
I
can
miss
imagine.
it. I love it, and I'm contract climbing now. I try to help out anyone I can. Just a little bit of words or a simple trick can go a long ways to someone else.
Yeah, I imagine it's slightly different for me than for you too, because like I'm a full time employee at this company, so like my success depends on you know the production guys' success.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I try to build a relationship too. I've only got a handful of companies that I climb with locally, and it's kind of nice that I've built up relationships with a lot of they're dudes that I'm working with, and if I can help them out, I will. If one of them is wanting to learn how to climb, I'll show them. If somebody's figuring out how to run some ropes, I'll work with them on that. And it definitely builds up a trust there that I hope they're going to treat me right, say if something happens. But also, if they want to learn, I mean, that's what I'm getting paid to help with.
Yeah.
Give them my day rate to give it my all.
You might not also even like you might have a significant impact in that guy's life down the road, like that you neither of you might even realize right now.
For sure. I mean, I've had a couple of dudes I've contracted with. Employees in the company, not the owners, they would hit me up and they'd be like, "Hey, where's the best place I can get training?" And I'm like, "Well, you can come and put in some time with me on the weekend, and you can earn it. And you can, if you're wanting to climb on job site, if we hit something in the work order that I think that I can help you and walk with you or get up there with you and kind of show you, then we can do it." So I was like, it just matters how much you want it.
Yeah.
I was like, and I don't mind helping. I enjoy it. So bring it on, dude. They said sharpening them up. I think it only kind of helps sharpen our tools as well. But heck yeah, man. So you said CTSP and track. Um, you got anything else you're looking forward to? I'd
I mean,
say
all
personally wise, kind of.
personally,
Yeah,
um, I don't know. I mean, like I just got my family down here, so we're working on settling into the house and everything.
yeah.
Just staying healthy and staying happy, pretty much.
I think you're
I'm
crushing
I'm,
it, all of those.
I'm always working on myself, so just
Yeah,
keeping at that.
that's a good thing, man. That really is. I can tell by kind of watching your social media and stuff that you're, you're definitely that guy. You're progressive. I'm you're kind of inspiring me too. I've been looking at your reading lists and I've been getting stoked on that. And then
Nice.
I definitely need to get back to doing a little bit more fitness.
Yeah. Something I something I'm trying to portray too, like through my social media, which is really just Instagram because I don't do anything else. Um, but is like I'm trying to portray the process instead of just the successes. So like I have no problem showing where I mess up at something or like my weaknesses.
Yeah,
I don't want to just seem like I'm just showing my successes.
yeah, yeah. That's a good thing to do. Anytime people kind of the same thing, I'll post up a bunch of photos and someone will message me and they're like, "Oh, I bet this went really well." And I was like, "I actually learned a lot on that tree. Check this out. This
Mhm.
happened at this cut." And it scared the shit out of me because
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. And now it's in the toolbox. Now I learn from it. And I'll share this with you. You asked me, kind of. So, all right, man. Well, I'm looking forward to Expo. I've got a little list here I'm going to throw at you. These are going to be 2 words, 2 brands, 2 devices, maybe 2 ropes. Whichever one you like the most, as fast as you can, kind of go through them.
Just like a rapid quiz type thing.
Yeah, it's going to be rapid. So we'll start off with the Still or Husky.
Husky.
Cool. Rope runner or akimbo?
Akimbo.
Zigzag or hitch cord?
Hitchcord.
Moving rope or stationary?
Ooh, it's really situational.
I'm the
I'd
same.
like to even I'd like to even discuss that further if there's time, but
Yeah, dude, we
uh,
still have time, so we'll go on to this one. Ice splice or tying knots?
ice place.
Okay, so here we go. Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones?
Ooh, Lord of the Rings.
All right, books or audiobooks?
Books.
All right. When you were Marine Corps, did you carry what was big then? So I had a Kindle because I couldn't. I remember I was buying books to read underway, and it was taking up too much space. And I think I was trying to ship books home that I really liked, and I was trying to sell the other ones.
I did a lot of Kindle reading too,
Okay, I ended up
on
switching to the
deployment at
Kindle.
least.
Yeah, I ended up switching to the Kindle. So cool. We'll get into the moving rope. And wait a minute, Lord of the Rings, huh? I
I
bet.
really enjoyed. I actually read the Game of Thrones books before I saw the show. I think I think I picked Lord of the Rings just because it's more consumable, like
Yeah,
book wise. It's a little bit shorter. Even the movies, like it's easier to watch the movies than to pay for HBO to watch Game of Thrones or pirate it. I
true.
really love the show of Game of Thrones, but yeah,
Well,
I'm more likely to watch Lord of the Rings again than Game of Thrones.
I got lucky with Game of Thrones. So I read the first book. I remember. I want to say I was getting off watch. I was still in the Navy at this point. I was getting off watch. It was like 2 in the morning, and somebody left, or maybe they forgot it. I don't know. I think they left it for me. I'm gonna say that. The first book of Game of Thrones, like in the galley. Yeah, and I was kind of like, swipe. This is a book that I need to read, and the show kind of ruined it because I think I read the book, got hooked on the show, and then I didn't read any more of the books. I just kept
Yeah.
watching the show.
Do you have a favorite character?
Ooh, man, probably the Hound, and I really like Braun.
Nice.
Yeah, I love the Hound. The people always talk about character change and stuff, and I was like, dude, the Hound was the Hound at the beginning, and I think he was the same exact dude at the very end. He was just always
Yeah,
good. Nobody saw
he had one goal, kill his brother, and that was just
it.
that was the whole show.
But he was a solid dude. I mean, throughout everybody kind of made him off to be this terrible person because of his brother, and he's like, "No, I'm a good dude, man. Like, what
Yeah,
the hell?"
he stuck to his principles.
Yeah, and then Braun because Braun's just a gangster.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I'm gonna say Arya.
She's
I really liked her storyline. Um,
yeah,
and obviously she was essential to the plot since she killed the Night King.
yeah. I'm rewatching the show now because I was the new one came out, the new series, and
Yeah, the dragons.
yeah, and I'm like, well, I need to rewatch the show because I don't. I guess I need to figure this out again and get back into it. And it's funny at how much towards the end of the episodes, how much that I did not like or I really like Jamie Lannister. And now that I'm rewatching him, like, damn, Jamie was a piece of crap at the beginning of this.
Well, yeah, the whole storyline kicked off because of him.
Yeah, I mean, none of it would have happened if it wasn't for him and Cersei. And she never changed. She was just the same terrible person up until the very end. But
Yeah,
at the end of it, you're like, man, Jamie, like you could have been all right if I don't know, you didn't love this terrible person. But yeah, we'll go on to back to the moving rope and stationary. So yeah, I saw. That's why I threw in Rope Runner Akimbo. I saw you were running. I think you had a moving rope set up. Akimbo, Moon.
I use the akimbo. Like if I'm pruning, I'll keep my akimbo on to drag tail. Um, if I'm pruning, I'll climb. I almost always climb SRT, but I still like using the wrench. And
Yeah.
I've been using the Arb Session, the Carolink recently, which I like just because it's more compact and I can pop it off really easy
Do
if I
you
want to
use
switch to
a
a couple
shorter
system.
hitch cord with that?
Yeah, it's either 26 or 28. I forget exactly.
Okay.
Um, but I had to get used to using a shorter hitch cord. Excuse me. Um, and then that'll be my primary system, and then I'll carry the akimbo to drag tail, or if I need to set up, a second tie-in point.
That yeah, that seems pretty similar to what I'm kind of switching to. If I'm doing we got a lot of pines down here, if I'm doing like pine removals and stuff, a lot of times I'm just using kind of my runner. I'll just advance to the top, set all my rigging, and come down. But yeah, if I'm pruning, I've been finding same thing. I've been going back to a rope wrench,
I
and
kind of got that too, and I might have even heard it in one of your podcasts,
it was
but
probably one.
watching Patrick Fitch climb on a rope wrench and then using the akimbo kind of reasserted to me the value of climbing that way. I still enjoy just having rope on
Yeah,
rope contact, which is why I do the rope wrench instead of a device. But then just because my position now is more giving other guys the tools to do stuff, like most of the actual climbing I'm doing is just like the big more technical removals or more technical prunings, like stuff that can't be done with the bucket or the spider lift. So so I'm gonna say I climb double rope more than SRT now, just because of the time of year. Like I'm mostly only doing big removals, so I'll climb double rope on a zigzag.
well, it's nice having that mechanical advantage too,
Yeah,
especially
and
coming back.
crane work I exclusively use a zigzag.
Yeah, I just picked one up a zigzag not long ago, and I'm still kind of getting the feel of it. Um, I need to get out and rec climb on it like one good day. Try to get a little bit better. I do love how smooth it is, though. That thing is crazy smooth.
It's we use it to like once we have guys start climbing, like we actually the first thing they climb on is a zigzag just because it's like out of the box ready, like versus pretty much every other device except for maybe the unisender, but like there's no adjustment needed. Like
Yeah,
you don't have to teach a guy how to climb or how to tie a different knot like a VT or a Schwabish or a distal or whatever. It's just it's so user friendly. It's easy to just give a guy a zigzag and then teach him how to use it efficiently and then fill in the gaps afterwards versus kind of giving them every single bit of information possible and then letting them parse through what's useful for them.
yeah. Because I think the only thing on the zigzag that you're limited on is rope diameter. I think that's
Yeah,
the
yeah, pretty much.
only limiting factor with it. And I teach guys when I was training before, and I mean, I still do this with new climbers that ask me for help. I teach them on moving rope first before we do anything, stationary rope.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
It gives them an appreciation, and you get to learn the advantages too. Like when I started, I was all on moving rope, and my crew leader, good friend of mine, mentor, um, he pushed me to like stay on moving rope, stay on it. And then once I got a year in, he was like, "All right, you've graduated. Like I'm gonna give you this rope runner here." And I was like, "Oh, this is a game changer." But then even then, for a while, I was still leaning towards moving rope, and it's just kind of finding that balance. What?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of there only being one perfect thing. Like I want to know as many things as possible and I want to give guys as many tools as possible so that they can apply different styles to different scenarios.
Oh, for sure. Because I even tell guys when they get on, stationary rope, they'll be like, "Oh, I kind of like." Say being on that 2-to-1 and being able to pull myself back. And I was like, well, you can turn that single rope into what you need. I mean, you just got to have the correct devices for it. I mean, you can turn that back into it, but it's gear intensive. I mean, putting like a Petzl curl or something above your single rope and say putting a pulley in there, a revolver or such.
Yeah.
It
I've
is gear
also
intensive, but
kind of since I got into this training position, I've tried to simplify the way I do things because like a lot of my training focus is on the entry level guys. So if all they see me doing is more advanced stuff, it's kind of they see like this way advanced stuff, but they don't see the in between steps, like a Blake's hitch or
Yeah.
a VT on some hitch cord. So I want to show guys, I want to make sure I'm exposing guys to like the simple, achievable things. The
Oh yeah.
same, the same thing applies to the way I teach rigging. Like I'm not gonna jump a guy right onto a GRCS. I'm gonna show him how to use a porter wrap or how to take trunk wraps if your natural crotch rigging with some 3-strand rope. Like
Yeah.
I want to show people the simple things first,
And understand the
just so they
sources.
understand that it's achievable.
Yeah. Yeah, the Blake Sitch is fun. I love throwing that on guys. So my training program I made, it lasted a month working one on one with guys. I think it was 10 hours of one on one training every week. And
Nice. That's a pretty substantial amount.
yeah, and it was good. And I had a an appreciation day, and I would make them climb the entire day. They had to climb maybe 60 foot, and then work basically like a work climb at competitions completely on a Blake Sitch. And most of them kind of despised that day. I mean, I loved it. I would do it with them. I'd be like, I'll do this with you. It does, it's work, but I think I saw a video of Chris Coates went to an aerial rescue at a comp. Something happened, I think, on the way to the comp, like he lost some luggage, and all he had was a rope and a couple like gear items people would lend him
Oh yeah, so he climbed the comp like on a closed system.
on a Blake Sitch. Yeah,
That's so legit.
yeah, and I was like, this is a perfect example. I was like, say you're in a rescue situation and there's not much gear laying around. I was like, you need to know this Blake Sitch.
That's why I yeah, that's why I harp on new climbers knowing it. Even if we're giving guys zigzags, like I want you to know how to tie basic systems for rescue or for double tie-ins, whatever. I still
Yeah,
tie a Blake's hitch all the time
I do it a lot
when
on
I'm
pruning.
learning.
Yeah, I'll get out there and then drag and tail and stuff. I'll just double crotch.
Yeah.
I'll just double crotch my way back, and then
Yeah,
rigging
you
too. I
don't
mean,
need any extra equipment.
you can implement the Blake Sitch into your rigging.
Yeah.
That's and it's minimal gear. I mean, as far as gear goes, it's about as minimal as it can happen. There's a one of our trainers. It was funny on our Blake Sitch day. He would do a rescue saddle on a rope with the closed system running a Blake Sitch, and he would climb. Luckily, it was an hour and a half or something, but he would stay in this bowling on a bite, closed out with a Blake Sitch on a rope, and do a work climb in the tree, and it was impressive.
Hmm.
I'll tell the guys too. I'm like, this is how it was done. Like, I saw a tree stuff video years ago, and they had a bunch of old saddles, and it was ropes tied into bowling on a bites with kind of a back harness that they made just out of rope, and they would just cut it off, and that was their saddle.
Yeah.
So it's
I mean, there's still
interesting.
guys doing production work every day today just on a Blake's hitch with like an old, like a sliding D Weaver saddle.
Oof. Yeah, I see. We've got guys around here that do that, and some of them are company owners too. And but my old company owner, Blake Roddy, really good dude, good company. Everyone was advanced. Everyone knew what they were doing, and I would go and help him with tree assessment sometimes, and he would pull out his 4D Buckingham harness, and I'm like, dude, like, there's so much better stuff out there. And he was a good dude. He was like, hey, man, like, I climb for inspections, and also you guys are the guys out there working. Y'all deserve that, not me. And I'm like,
Hmm.
well, I think you can afford it, but I really appreciate that. Like, that's cool that you're seeing it that way. But it's wild, man. Yeah, it's a fun world, and I'm glad you're in it, and we got to catch up and talk some, man. I've been enjoying it. So people can find you at tree_pirate.
Yep. Yeah, on Instagram, Tree Pirate, and that's all I do. I haven't done like YouTube or anything yet, but
I
Maybe
think
at
you'd be
some
all
point
right.
I'll break into that.
Yeah, I think you'd be all right. Especially with all the videos and stuff. You and Zach could probably crush it, but I'm sure he's got his own. I'll have to check his YouTube channel out. I've only really followed him on Instagram.
Yeah, he puts up some really enjoyable footage.
Yeah, and so LaRoche, you guys said that you're trying to expand. Is that going to be on the residential side or
Um,
kind of
yeah,
everywhere?
I mean, it's a big company and it's always growing. I know we have some job postings on the website, but as far as like residential goes, like we're still, I would say our like right now our biggest lack is just experienced guys. So we're not gonna we're not gonna turn away people we know would be useful to the team.
Yeah. So you're hiring helicopter pilots?
Not that I know of.
I'm just
Not
messing with
right
you.
now.
That's so cool that you guys, man. And I was kind of reading on LaRoche's website. So is it Chris? Or
Yeah, CJ, but Chris. He's the owner.
he started it with like a dump trailer and a pickup when he was 16, huh?
Yep, he's 36 now, which is pretty awesome considering how massive of an operation this company is. But yeah, he went from a truck and a trailer to several hundred employees and two helicopters.
Man, that's crazy. That's really cool. So is he pretty approachable with you guys? I imagine he's a pretty good dude. I
He
think.
is. He's like when you talk to him, you don't think about the fact that he's overseeing this empire. He's just a person, very humble, very smart.
I mean, you got to be to come from that in 20 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
right around in there, 20 years. Yeah, come from his. Yeah, that's tough work out there hashing it up in a dump trailer, and then being. I couldn't imagine a 16-year-old these days
right.
pulling that off. It's a different animals. But dude, I appreciate it, man. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Looking forward to Expo, and thanks for reaching out, dude, and thanks for sharing
Yeah,
some.
for sure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, brother. Well, you have a good night, dude. I appreciate you.
You too. See you around.
Later, bud.